Namo Narayan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. It is a great blessing of mine to be able to receive you. As the last 2 weeks, I was actually quite sick. And I had dengue, had to be hospitalized. But I'm committed to doing this series. And it's something that I'm very serious about. And I'm very much looking forward to today's presentation. So today, we are talking about using Yoga Nidra for self-therapy. How to be able to eradicate the core, the root in the psyche, whatever is that chronic psychological tension that is creating stress in your life. Yoga Nidra can help you to eradicate what is the cause of whatever is most distressing in your life, whatever is causing you the most pain and the most suffering. Yoga Nidra goes straight to that level. The key is that we should stay awake. Now, Yoga Nidra is very useful for insomnia as well. And if we need to use Yoga Nidra to sleep, that's fine. But we can also do a tremendous amount of inner work by staying awake beyond physical sleep and going into the dreaming state of mind while conscious, in which you can illumine the contents of the psyche. You can illumine those thought processes instead of that being perpetuated unconsciously. The first discussion I want to have is about chakra health. Because all these different emotions, all these different hang-ups, all these different forms of tension, whether it's insecurity or fear or a lack of joy or sadness or depression or shame or guilt or grief, grieving, or feeling inhibited, feeling like you cannot express yourself, or feeling mental stagnation, feeling like you don't have concentration, feeling like you don't have an attention span, like you can't really read a book very well without the mind wandering, feeling shut off from your higher knowledge. Like you know that there's spiritual truths that you know, but you forget them, or you're short-sighted, you become distracted a lot. All of these different stresses and negative emotions and different forms of tension and stress, they are all found in one of the chakras. So today I want to introduce you to a different way of understanding chakra health and purity. And we're going to be looking at the gunas. So the gunas are a yogic concept. And it's really kind of like a scale between static energy, dynamic energy, and that sustainable sweet spot of balance between the two. Static energy, stagnation. This is tamas. Dynamic energy, active, being active, is rajas. And sustainability, the balance between the two, where we thrive and experience the most joy and inner peace and bliss and health, that is sattva. And an analogy that I like to use for the different gunas are different bodies of water. So tamoguna, tamas, the stagnation, that would be like a swamp where there's no dissolved oxygen, nothing is living in it. It's mostly dead. A stagnant pool is tamas. Then for rajas, on the polar opposite side of the spectrum, rajas, dynamic motion, that would be like a rushing river with rapids and waterfalls and lots of movement. and there's lots of dissolved oxygen and lots of life. This is where life is really happening the most, is in Rajas. And then Sattva, which is the balance between the two, is like a big lake. A lake that has an inlet and an outlet, and the water is able to move and stay aerated, and there's always fresh water coming in, and there's lots of life, tremendous amount of life, and there's sanctuaries that the new life can grow up in, and there's all sorts of different habitats in a lake, right? So really the lake is where there's the most life and where life can really blossom the most, and that's Sattva. Now the gunas can be in one of these three modes. Instead of the chakras can be in one of these three modes of the three gunas. Instead of thinking about the chakra as being blocked or open or dormant or active, think of it as being under the influence of one of the gunas. So when a chakra is tamasic, then it is stagnant, and we are also usually in denial of the lack of the best part of that chakra, whatever is the healthy function of the chakra. When that chakra is most healthy, whatever emotion or quality of mind that chakra represents, there's a total lack of that in tamas, and we are in denial that we're lacking that. The next one is a combination of tamas and rajas. So it's still predominantly tamas, which means it's blocked, it's stagnant. There's a lack there, a lacking. But the rajas component is somewhat active. So that means that you're aware, you're not in denial anymore. You're aware of the stagnated state of the chakra, and you're searching for solutions. You're going out and trying to find solutions, but the tendency is then to come back to that stagnated state. Next, we go into Rajas dominance. Now you are active. Now you are starting to experience some of the good qualities of the chakra, whichever chakra it is. However, the first level here is Rajasic Tamasic. So although you're active, you're still engaging in a negative way, in a selfish way, in a way that might hurt others. And Rajasic Tamasic is the most dangerous of all these stages as far as hurting others. In Tamasic, you're a danger to yourself. But in Rajasic Tamasic, you're now active, going out into the world, actively seeking for that form of pleasure or security or pride or love or self-expression or knowledge. You're now actively searching for that in the world. You're extroverted towards it. You think it's outside of you to be attained somewhere. But in Rajasic Tamasic, you're likely to use other people to get that. This is where we have thievery, lying, deceit, manipulation, all these things. In order to get that which you're looking for, you will use other people and harm other people and just discard other people. Now, next is pure Rajasic. When a chakra is in the pure Rajasic mode, it's active. The good qualities are now dominant of the chakra, but we're in an extroverted approach towards them. We think that they are something outside of ourselves to be attained. So we're trying to find security in the world. We're trying to find pleasure in the world. We're trying to find pride through name and fame and reputation in the world. We're trying to find love outside of us through relationships and social attachments. And we're trying to find self-expression through expressing ourselves in the world. It has to be something outside of us. And self-knowledge. In this case, just knowledge. It's not self-knowledge. The Rajasic form of agya knowledge. You're trying to find knowledge in the world, intellectual knowledge, book knowledge, to make you seem smart, to make you sound smart. Next, Rajasic Sattvic. Here you still have an external or extroverted approach towards whatever is the positive quality of that chakra, but you do it in a mutually beneficial way, that you want to help other people. So for example, in relationships, you still see love as being something you have to acquire outside of you, but you want the other person to feel pleasure and to feel good and to feel love too. And you feel most satisfied when the other person is feeling love and pleasure and happiness. So that's Rajasic Sattvic. It's very altruistic, but it's still tinged or tainted by seeing the goal as being something to be acquired outside of you. You're still extroverted in your approach. Next, we enter into the Sattvic stages of the chakra. The first one being Sattvic Rajasic. So Sattvic means now you have an introverted awareness that the fruit or the highest quality of the chakra, whichever chakra, is to be attained within you, to be derived from within you. Security is found within. You are self-secure. You don't need to try to derive security from other people or things or places. Pleasure is derived from within. You find self-born joy. Pride, here it's self-love. You can drop all that arrogance and the false pride of always having to prove something, because you have truly embraced self-love. And self-love turns into selfless love or universal love at the heart, in which we experience bliss and become aware that love is found within first and foremost. And when it's Rajasic, Sattvic Rajasic, then you're wanting to also help others. You're active towards the world. So you found it within yourself, and you want others to also experience and discover that for themselves. So this is like the level of the karma yogi, the one who they have found it within themselves and they want to share it with the world. Then Sattvic, pure Sattvic is you become stabilized in that. There isn't the need to go out and to ratify it through external experiences. You know it's there within you. You're fully self-aware to that quality of the chakra as being derived from within you. And then beyond the gunas, called Trigunatita, beyond the gunas, which is the enlightened level of the chakra. When a chakra is in enlightened mode, it's beyond tamas, rajas, and sattva. It's beyond the gunas, and you are embodying the eternal principle. These eternal cosmic principles. So you become united. Security turns into union and divine trust, where you transcend the attachment to the physical body. You've accepted the mortality of the physical body, and you know you are not the physical body. You are a soul. You are an eternal soul that transmigrates from lifetime to lifetime, body to body. So you have no fear, no mortal fear. The enlightened level, well, let's go through here. I'm going to give you 3 different chakras that we're going to go through today. It'd be a bit much to go through all 6 of them. Remember 6, because the 7th is the crown chakra, is not actually a chakra. It's on the other side of duality. It's on the non-dual side, the subjective side of the Atman, or pure consciousness, whereas the lower 6 chakras are on the objective side. They're the objects of awareness and the different levels of the mind, which is all experience has the subjective level and the objective level. The objective level is the level of dualities, the separation between self and other, whereas the subjective level is the level of non-duality, where there's just total awareness that you are consciousness, that you are beyond all the objects of perception and anything in the world. Nothing can touch you when you know that you are pure formless consciousness, right? So that's the level of Sahasrara. So we don't even talk about Sahasrara here. We're going to talk about the lower 6 chakras from Agya down to Muladhara. So let's start with Muladhara. When Muladhara is purely tamasic, there's insecurity and fear. One feels very fearful about how they're going to survive. And general insecurities are very prevalent. But because it's pure tamas here, there's also denial. So there's chronic fear and insecurity, but one is in denial of that fact. Next, tamasic rajasic. So the insecurity and the fear is the base state, but they're aware of it and they're no longer in denial. And now they're starting to search for solutions to that insecurity and fear. When we finally get to the rajasic level, now it's not stagnant. Now you're starting to acquire stability. You're starting to feel stability and security. And however, the first level in Rajas is Rajas Tamasic. And the Tamasic is a negative quality. So you're very selfish here. There's still a lot of fear. There's the fear that you're going to go back into the Tamasic level. So they are Rajasic, they are active, they're extroverted, but they will use other people in order to achieve that security. They'll rob other people's wealth, or they'll lie to other people. They'll deceive other people to get financial security. It's a big one, right? On this level of Muladhara, financial security is huge. So people will do whatever it takes in order for one person to have, the other person must lose. It's that mentality, the dog eat dog kind of world. It doesn't have to be that way. Mutual relationships are a lot better, but we'll get to that later. So Rajasic Tamasic is always the most dangerous mode for a chakra to be in, because this is what creates sociopaths. This is what creates people who are willing to harm, to cheat, to lie, to deceive, to rob, to steal, in order to get whatever it is they're trying to get on that chakra level. Next, Rajasic. Rajasic, pure Rajas here, it's active. So Muladhara, they are seeking security, and they're doing it in an extroverted manner. This is just the kind of business world, the corporate world, where you're not necessarily harming others. You're just going out and you're just trying to get what you need to get. Your focus is purely physical, financial, and you're just going out, but you don't necessarily always need to do it in a way that harms others. But it's the extroverted focus here is dominant, where you think that security is something to be attained outside of you through objects in the world. Then when Muladhara becomes a bit more pure, then it goes to Sattvic Rajasic. I'm sorry, I skipped one. Rajasic Sattvic. We're still in Rajas here. We're still extroverted towards security. But here there's a Sattvic mode. So you realize that you need to enter into partnerships, that you need to network with other people. You realize that in order to really achieve your own security, you have to form communities with other people, and they have to be secure as well. So you're interested in other people's security. You want to help educate other people on how to become secure. And that's how you are achieving your own external security as well. So Rajasic Sattvic is a more altruistic mode for the chakra to be in, but it's still extroverted. Sattvic now, entering into the sattvic mode of Muladhara. When you've purified into sattva, now you're no longer looking for that item outside of you. You've started to discover it within. So here at Muladhara, you've discovered internal stability. You're no longer insecure. You feel totally secure within you. You have this self-security that's derived from within that you cannot lose, cannot be taken from. And the first of the sattvic modes is sattvic rajasic, which is very altruistic, in which you have found that inner security and you want to help other people to also feel that insecurity. And that's how you ratify and prove to yourself that you really do have it, that it's really within you. You feel then, I have so much of this quality, I want to share it with others. But pure sattva, you are fully stabilized now. You don't need to prove to yourself. You don't need to go out to the world to ratify that you have it. You know you've got it. You are self-aware, and security is stabilized and totally found from within you. The enlightened level of Muladhara is to transcend all fear of death, to know that you are not the body. You are a soul that creates bodies. You manufacture bodies. As long as there's any desire within you, any desire at all, you must take rebirth. And your soul will create a body for you in that other world for you to experience your desires and fulfill your desires. So on the enlightened level, you have transcended that desire for security because you don't identify with being the body. The body will die and you're not attached to it. You're not even affected by it. You know you are soul. You are an eternal, immortal soul. And you feel this tremendous unity with all of the universe, with all of eternity. You feel that the whole universe, the eternal universe, is your home. And there's this spiritual security that transcends birth, life, and death. Now let's go to Swadhisthana. The stages of health for Swadhisthana. If this is interesting to you, by the way, I'm doing a course next Saturday that is all about you're going to become a certified chakra therapist. And I give you a certificate, a professional certificate that has your name on it and shows that you are a chakra therapist. And we're going to be going through all of these different modes. You can see there's 8 different modes that each chakra can be in. We're going to go through all the modes in this workshop starting next Saturday. And then we're going to talk about the yogic remedies, because for each chakra, there's a form of yoga for that chakra. For example, the heart, bhakti yoga. Agya, the third eye, jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge and meditation. For karma yoga is Manipura chakra. Hatha yoga, the postures and all of these things, would be Muladhara for the physical body, and so on and so forth. So then we talk about the form of yoga to remedy these different stages of health that each chakra can be in. And then you learn how to create a personal program for each unique individual, for your clients, so that you're going to learn a questionnaire. There's 20 questions for each chakra that you're going to discern by asking your client these questions. You'll figure out which of these 8 modes each chakra is in. And then you can be able to refer to that to create a daily yoga program for them to help to strengthen their weakest chakra. So that's on the website, tripurayoga.org. It's only $80. That's down from $195. It's worth a lot more, but I want to make this available to everybody to be able to take. So it's just there, tripurayoga.org, certified yoga therapist training. only $80. It's a 4-week program. We meet every Saturday for 4 weeks, starting next Saturday. Okay, let's go over Swadhisthana, the 8 stages of health. When Swadhisthana, the second chakra, when it is in a pure tamasic mode, you feel depressed. There's no joy. There's no humor. You have no sense of humor. You can't even laugh. And you're in a state of denial about your depression, your lack of joy, lack of humor, lack of pleasure, your inability to feel pleasure. And there's denial. That's the real key characteristic of a chakra in a tamasic mode, is that it is dormant, it is blocked, you're not feeling the good qualities of that chakra, and there's denial to it as well. The next stage is tamasic rajasic, in which you're no longer in denial, but there's still a deprivation. You're deprived of the good qualities of that chakra. So here, one is still depressed, sad, no pleasure, no humor, but they're not in denial about it anymore, and they're starting to seek for solutions. Then we go into the rajasic mode, when you're now active. You're not stagnant anymore. You're active. You're going out into the world and seeking for pleasure. You're actively seeking pleasure in the world. But the first one here, rajasic, tamasic, remember, that's the most dangerous. So here, you'll use other people to feel pleasure. This is like the sex addicts. It's the people who just want to use another person's body for sexual pleasure, and then they discard them afterwards. They don't care about the individual. That is rajasic, tamasic. They're active. They are seeking and experiencing pleasure, but it's totally selfish, and they don't care about who they harm in the process of getting that pleasure. Rajasic is just very worldly. It's the worldly mode that's not overly negative. They are actively seeking pleasure. They see pleasure as being something outside of them that they have to achieve. So these are like the hedonists a little bit. People who use substances a lot. People who always want to change their state to feeling good. And they might try to cure their depression with substances such as wine or weed or different things, prescription drugs, food, all sorts of things, sex. Next is, well, that was pure rajasic. Next is rajasic sattvic. In rajasic sattvic, you still see pleasure as something to be derived outside of you, in the world outside of you. But you realize in order for you to feel good, you have to make other people feel good. And so the focus is on wanting other people to feel pleasure. You feel good when other people feel good, but you still see pleasure as being something to be derived outside of you. You have an external or extroverted approach towards pleasure until we get to sattvic, the sattvic mode of the chakra. Now you have found that pleasure within. You know pleasure is your own quality. You find pleasure naturally within yourself. You can make yourself feel good all the time, even in absence of the objects of pleasure. You just feel good naturally. You have a good sense of humor. You can laugh a lot. You feel a lot of self-born joy. And because this is sattvic rajasic, you found that inner pleasure and you want to ratify it, prove it to yourself by sharing it with others and going out to the world and making other people know that they can also feel good within themselves and find that internal pleasure as well. When we get to pure sattvic, then you know you're fully stabilized in internal pleasure. You don't have to ratify it by going out into the world and trying to get other people to also feel good. You become fully secure in your inner pleasure. You're fully self-aware that pleasure is derived from within you. And the enlightened level is when you feel that spiritual ecstasy all the time. You transcend the pleasures of the body and the senses, and you just feel the ecstasy of spirit, that bliss. You feel that spiritual ecstasy all the time. That's the enlightened mode of Swadhisthana. Ecstasy, spiritual ecstasy. Next, Manipura. When we are in a tamasic mode, when Manipura is shut down, there's a lack of will. There's total procrastination. You can't start what you finish. Oftentimes we delay and put things off, and they never get done. There's lethargy. And there's denial. If it's totally tamasic, then not only are we lethargic, and there's no willpower, and there's no self-love and no self-pride, but we are in denial of that fact. Tamasic Rajasic, now there's still a lack of self-love, a lack of pride, a lack of follow-through. There's still that procrastination, but you are looking for solutions. You're aware of it now. You're no longer in denial, and you're looking for solutions to that. But the tendency is to go back into that tamasic mode. The Rajasic, tamasic Manipura. Remember, this is the most dangerous. The Rajasic, tamasic. People will want to use others to feel good about themselves. This is the arrogant pride. Pride where you always have to prove to yourself that you're better than other people. You'll put other people down. You have to always remind others that you're actually better or smarter or more this or more that. It's that highly competitive person. You know those people, you have some friendships maybe, where it's like they always have to one-up you. It's like they can't just listen to you and relate to you. They listen to you, and then whatever their feedback, it's always in a way that tries to prove themselves as being a little bit better than you. That's the Rajasic tamasic. They cut other people down to elevate themselves. In order to feel that they are dominant and that they have pride and are proud of themselves, they have to cut others. They're continually cutting others and putting others down. Now, the pure Rajasic mode of Manipura, this is where you have that charisma. These are very charismatic people. And they still have an extroverted approach towards pride. Name and fame, reputation, these are very important here. It's not necessarily putting other people down. It's like the celebrity. They want to be happy. They want people to always think of them as being a happy person. And they are actively seeking pride, name, fame, reputation. Rajasic Sattvic, still extroverted approach to achieving pride and proving self-love, but they do it in a way that builds others up. Truly great people, they don't need to chop others down. A truly great person can make others great too. However, here, their greatness is still in an extroverted orientation. So they're still interested in reputation, but they want to help other people's reputation. So they know that they're gonna make themselves sound good by talking good about other people. They'll talk up somebody. They'll want to inflate their ego because they know that if they inflate somebody else's ego, they're gonna like them. Like, oh, they'll like me if I talk good about them. That's the Rajasic Sattvic mode of Manipura. Now, next we go into the Sattvic dimension, where you have found that self-love and you've found that self-born pride within yourself. And it's not insecure. It's totally secure self-pride and self-love. However, the first Sattvic level, Sattvic Rajasic, You need to ratify that. You need to prove to yourself that you've got that self-love and that self-pride. So you go out into the world and you do altruistic actions. You want other people to also feel self-pride. You want other people to also feel self-love. And that's helping to prove to yourself that you've got it. However, the pure sattvic mode of Manipura, you have self-love. You are stabilized in your personal power. You have strong willpower. You do what you say you're going to do. You have strong follow-through. You have this unlimited source of personal power, of energy, of prana. Your prana is strong. You can go out into the world and you don't feel depleted, no matter what obstacles you face, because you have this internal source of personal power, of dynamism, of energy, of charisma, of pride and self-love. The enlightened level is this indescribable experience of being connected to the cosmic power of the universe, the Mahaprana, the cosmic energy. You are connected to the infinite power of the universe. That's the enlightened level of Manipura. So I hope that you've begun to see this pattern starting to emerge, that there's 8 modes each chakra can be in. Now I've created a course where I have questionnaires that you could ask your students, your clients, people that you're working with, in order to discern which of those 8 modes each chakra is on. And there's 20 to 25 questions for each chakra that you'll ask your client in order to identify which chakra is in which mode: tamasic, rajasic, sattvic, or enlightened. In this course, it's a certified course. You get a certificate with your name on it showing that you are a chakra therapist. And you're going to learn how to diagnose each chakra's health and purity, and then offer yogic remedies for each weak chakra to strengthen that chakra. This course includes a PDF workbook with all the lectures, all the slides, all the questionnaires. There's over 150 questions, 20 to 25 for each chakra. And we also go over the different forms and practices of yoga to strengthen each chakra. Which practices bring a chakra from the tamasic mode into the rajasic, and from the rajasic into the sattvic, and from the sattvic into the enlightened. So for example, the heart chakra is bhakti yoga. The third eye, Agya chakra, is jnana yoga, the yoga of knowledge. For Manipura chakra, we do karma yoga, so on and so forth. And this course will revolutionize your understanding of the human body and the personality. Our personality, our hang-ups, whatever stress, whatever tension we are seeking relief from, is on a chakra. That's why we're talking about this today. Because when we use Yoga Nidra for self-therapy, which is the theme of this series of classes in this free course that I'm offering here every Saturday, is then we have to identify which chakra is weak, which chakra is blocked and stagnant, or which chakra is in that negative mode. Then we can identify the different yogic remedies to strengthen that chakra. You can take this course even if you just want to have this knowledge to use for yourself, even if you're not a therapist. Maybe you don't want the certificate. Maybe you just want to know how to use all the different branches and forms and practices and techniques of yoga and tantra and mantra and kriya in order to strengthen the different chakras, so you can help to unblock and go beyond whatever limitations are currently holding you back in your life right now. And so you can continue to make progress even after you address whatever chakra is problematic right now. When you get that one sorted out, then what's next? This training will give you that full knowledge so you can be your own yoga therapist. And it's only $80. It's a 4-week course. We meet 4 Saturdays starting next week, starting next Saturday. The location is online on Zoom live, and we record each session from start to finish, from beginning to end. So that if you can't make the live session, the recorded version will be available for you within, usually it's no more than 24 hours. I like to send it the same night or the next morning at the very latest. So it's like between 12 and 18 hours usually after the live version is when the recorded version is sent out. Go to tripurayoga.org and it's right there on the homepage, Certified Chakra Therapy Course, where you learn to diagnose the chakra health and purity for each chakra and to offer yogic remedies to your clients. Okay, let's go on. When it comes to using Yoga Nidra for self-therapy, let's understand the importance of sleep. Now, to do the deepest inner work of identifying the root cause of your suffering, we should stay awake because we want to go into the conscious dreaming stage of Yoga Nidra, which comes after we put the physical body to sleep with the body scan. After body scan and some conscious breathing, the physical body should be asleep, but the mind is still awake. Then you enter into the stage of Yoga Nidra called conscious dreaming, where you are becoming conscious to your thoughts, your thought processes, your emotions. You can look at them objectively. You can be able to just see them for what they are without attaching the ego to it. You can separate out the ego and just look at what you're carrying within your heart. Illumine what you're holding within you. What scripts and negative self-talk are you running habitually? And by staying awake in this stage of Yoga Nidra, you transition from unconscious reactiveness to conscious self-control. But wakefulness must be there. However, if you do fall asleep, that's what you need right now is really deep rest. And if you cannot fall asleep, that just makes your problems, whatever challenges you're facing, that just makes it worse. Because when crisis occurs in our life, whether if it's emotional crisis, financial crisis, physical crisis to our health, some relationship crisis, whatever. Whenever any kind of crisis enters our life, oftentimes the first thing that is affected is our ability to sleep at night. We have mild to advanced forms of insomnia and sleeping disorders. Can't sleep because of all the stress and tension from the crisis that you're facing. And that just creates this negative feedback loop where you don't get the rest that you need. So the next day you don't have the energy to address the problems and challenges. And it just starts getting worse and worse. So in order to stop this vicious negative pattern, we use Yoga Nidra for sleep. Yoga Nidra is a very reliable method for inducing deep sleep. 1 hour of Yoga Nidra is equal to 2 to 3 hours of sleep. If you can really do Yoga Nidra, where you put the body to perfect relaxation, you're able to relax every muscle of the body, and then you achieve deep, slow, deep breathing, and then relaxed thoughts through visualization. The body enters into a very deep, relaxed mode, and the brain waves slow down. from the fast beta waves of the waking state and problem-solving mind into the more relaxed alpha brain waves. And in Yoga Nidra, you can go into the deeper delta and theta brain waves that we usually experience during deep sleep. So you can still get that rest that you need. If you can't fall asleep and you do Yoga Nidra for 3 or 4 hours, you can get the rest and the revitalization that you need to address the day. So as a last resort, you can do Yoga Nidra. And even if you don't fall asleep, you can feel confident that you're going to get the rest that you need just by doing Yoga Nidra. And that thought helps you fall asleep. Having the confidence that even if I don't sleep, I'm still going to get the rest I need, then you don't obsess on needing to sleep. It's oftentimes that thought that keeps you from sleeping, that you must sleep. I must sleep tonight. I must get the rest that I need tonight. I can't have insomnia tonight. I just can't. Tonight, I need to sleep. I need to sleep. I need to sleep. That thought will keep you from sleeping. But if instead, if you tell yourself, I'm just going to do Yoga Nidra, and through Yoga Nidra, I'm going to get the rest that I need, then you can release that obsessive worry and you're more likely to fall asleep more naturally. You know, I learned something when I was living in the ashram in Rikia back in 2008 and 2009. I was the gatekeeper for the VIP building, Shivananda Ashram. And I was the only one who could have the key, which meant then if people came in really late, and of course they're VIPs, so they want to just come and go whenever they want, people would come in really late from the train station, sometimes 3 a.m., and I'd have to wake up and go and let them in. So I remember there being times when I would want to force myself to stay awake and tell myself, I will not sleep, I must not sleep, I cannot sleep. If obsessing on wanting to sleep keeps you from sleeping, then the opposite is true as well. Telling yourself, I will stay awake no matter what, that is a sedative. That thought in itself will put you to sleep. It makes it so hard to stay awake when you're trying to force yourself to stay awake. The mind is like a naughty child. It's a polar responder. When you say, I want to sleep, it stays awake. When you say, I want to stay awake and do Yoga Nidra, I'm going to do this extra long 3-hour Yoga Nidra for sleep, and I'm going to stay awake for all of it. I'm going to force myself to stay awake. Good luck. That means you're an advanced yogi if you can really do that. So most of us end up falling asleep. So that's just kind of a little game you can play with the mind. Now, I want to give you a technique that you can learn to do Yoga Nidra for sleep alone on your own. For example, if you're somewhere and there's no Wi-Fi, or your phone battery dies and you don't have your charger, so you can't listen to one of my Yoga Nidra for sleep sessions, right? What are you going to do? There's 3 practices of Yoga Nidra that are most useful for insomnia. There's the body scan. Next is alternate nostril breathing, visualizing that you're breathing in through the left nostril, out through the right, in through the right, out through the left, and making the exhalation twice as long as the inhalation. That's another key. So you can use a meter. Breathe in 4, breathe out 8. Then breathe in 4 and breathe out 8. By elongating the exhalation. The exhalation is passive and it's just relaxing. The inhalation is active, you're drawing the breath in, but the exhalation is passive and you're just relaxing all the muscles of respiration. So by elongating the exhalation, you prolong that relaxation. And you can slow down the brain waves and you can help yourself to fall asleep. The alternate nostril breathing also helps to balance the brain hemispheres. So you feel very balanced mentally and the mind can become silent. Then you can fall asleep. And the third technique for Yoga Nidra for sleep is some kind of pleasant visualization, an inner sanctuary visualization, any soothing mental scenery, visualizing yourself someplace in nature, maybe a favorite summer vacation destination you used to go to as a kid. You can visualize yourself being back there again. It could be anything. It could be someplace that isn't even real, that you just make up in your mind. And visualization and imagining, fantasizing helps to bring the brain waves out of beta into alpha. So it helps to slow down the brain waves so you can transition into dreaming. You can fall asleep. Fantasizing, visualizing helps to transition into the dreaming state. So it helps you fall asleep. Now, the first one here, body scan. I want you to start to learn how to assign numbers to the body parts. Okay, so right hand, thumb is 1. Index finger is 2. Middle finger is 3. Ring finger is 4. And the pinky is 5. Palm of the hand is 6. Back of the hand is 7. Wrist is 8. Lower arm is 9. Elbow is 10. Upper arm is 11. Shoulder is 12. So on and so forth. And the reason that you do this, so if you've listened to some of my Yoga Nidra for sleeps long enough, you've probably internalized the pattern of the body scan, the pattern of the body parts that we go through. And you can just give them a number. Then you can go through this very fast. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. And there's 30 on each side. Then 30 on the left side, then top of the head down. Give a number to each one. A number and feel the body part, right? This can help you to go through the whole body scan very fast, very quickly. And we have to learn how to do it very quickly to release habitual chronic muscular tension. Because you do the body scan one time, and then you find then there's certain body parts that became tense unconsciously. So you have to be able to run through these body scan circuits again and again and again and again and again very quickly. And the way you do that is by using numbers, assigning numbers to the body parts. Now you can internalize the steps to Yoga Nidra for sleep. And you can help yourself to induce, you can guide yourself to induce sleep at night, especially when you're facing some crisis in your life, which is when you need deep sleep the most, so you can wake up re-energized and be able to face whatever problems that you have. Next. This is class 2, by the way, of Yoga Nidra for self-therapy. Next week, next Saturday, this class is going to be held a little bit earlier because there's going to be a new training starting next Saturday at this time, which is the Certified Chakra Therapist program, in which you're going to learn to diagnose the health of chakras and prescribe yogic remedies for each chakra. And you get a certificate with your name showing that you are a chakra therapist. You get a digital version. You can print it if you want, or you can keep the digital version for your website. This training is only $80 for 4 weeks. The value is $200, but I'm giving a very good discount for you. $80. You can sign up at tripurayoga.org. It's right there on the homepage. Chakra Therapy Program, Certified Chakra Therapy Program. Okay, so now let's talk about Yoga Nidra for self-therapy. How to use Yoga Nidra for self-therapy. So we already talked about insomnia and using Yoga Nidra to cure insomnia, which it is a very powerful technique for. Please listen. If you or anybody you know suffers from insomnia, it's not needed if you know about yoga nidra. You don't have to suffer needlessly. You don't have to suffer from sleeping disorders if you know about yoga nidra. There's no reason. Yoga nidra is such a powerful technique for curing insomnia. So share it with other people. If somebody else says, oh, I have a hard time sleeping at night, ask them, have you ever heard of yoga nidra? Let me send you a video. And of course, you'll send them one of mine. Thank you so much. But where to start? This is a beginner's course. This is just class number 2. So I want to give you some guidelines on where to start for using yoga nidra for self-therapy. Really, you want to stay awake so then you can illumine the root of your stress, whatever chronic stress and tension there is. You want to fully understand it in the neutral light of the witness consciousness, of just pure awareness, just becoming aware without judging, without overanalyzing, without identifying with it. So start with shorter sessions in the beginning, like less than 25 minutes long. And you can use any yoga nidra session for therapy. It doesn't have to be yoga nidra for therapy. No, any yoga nidra session will work for self-therapy. So start with shorter sessions. Why shorter sessions? So you can stay awake for the whole session. And then start to use longer sessions as your ability to stay awake during yoga nidra is strengthened. Gradually progress, add like 5 minutes on each week or something until you can stay awake during yoga nidra for a full, complete 50 or 60 minute session. So this is very important for us in understanding how to approach yoga nidra for self-therapy. Next, be determined not to move. Really spend a little bit extra time in the beginning to become really comfortable. Adjust your posture, adjust your clothing, get everything just right. You can use bolsters, like a nice bolster underneath the knees. And you can use a short, small little pillow maybe under the head. And it's good to do yoga nidra lying on the floor, by the way, because if you try to do yoga nidra in your bed, you're probably going to fall asleep. So do yoga nidra on the floor, but put a nice comfortable mat underneath you. Use bolsters. You can even cover yourself in a light sheet. Put a weighted, like a cloth, a heavy cloth over your eyes to keep your eyes comfortable. All sorts of things that you can do to help prepare for yoga nidra so you can stay still. Why is it so important to stay still? Because during yoga nidra, we start with the gross level of our being and we go deeper into the more subtle layers of our being. Yoga teaches that we have 3 bodies. We have a gross, a subtle, and a causal body. And we want to be able to transcend the gross physical body. And to transcend the gross physical body, we have to be able to stay perfectly still. Every muscle should be still and totally relaxed, like melted butter. Every muscle should be totally supple and soft and loose. And you should be able to stay still. Then you can go into the subtle body. And then finally, the causal body of just sheer bliss. Next, formulate your healing sankalpa. You can do a whole yoga nidra session on just finding the wording for your healing sankalpa to address whatever the specific form of chronic tension or pain or whatever challenge you're facing. Whatever specific challenge you're facing, you should formulate a healing sankalpa, which has positive wording that is directed towards healing and recovery and building strength in the mind, building a positive attitude, and installing healthy beliefs that counteract the cause of that chronic stress and tension. And then we should see Yoga Nidra as a process of cultivating awareness to the obstacles of relaxation, because relaxation is your natural state. Relaxation, bliss, joy, serenity, equanimity, these are your own qualities. Yoga Nidra doesn't give them to you. They're already there. Yoga Nidra reduces the distractions and removes the obstacles, so then that natural relaxation, which is your natural state, can occur spontaneously. So you should see a Yoga Nidra practice as you are being committed to cultivating awareness. So anything that comes up, no matter how unpleasant, it's a good thing, because it's coming up in order to be understood, illumined, resolved, transcended. So don't worry if you feel sometimes some uncomfortable or discomfort, some kind of anxious or nervous energy comes to the surface during Yoga Nidra. See that as a good thing, because it's giving you the opportunity to express it, to get it out, to release it, to purify it. And here, purifying just means giving yourself permission to express it. So you're not repressing it anymore. Just giving yourself permission to express it, to let it out, to release it. Facing it is purifying. And this is helping you to transition from unconscious reactiveness to conscious proactiveness, conscious self-control, just cultivating awareness, just knowing what you carry within you, just knowing what maybe uncomfortable feelings and emotions and energies there are within you, just identifying those. Identifying them and then disidentifying from them, knowing that they are subject to change and impermanent, therefore not you. They're not really you. This too shall pass. You, on the subjective side of all experience, the formless, silent self, you dwell in sheer bliss. Bliss is your truth. Stress, intention, this is from the illusions of the mind, from our ignorance. Therefore, they cannot live. But your truth, bliss, joy, serenity, these are part of your true nature. Therefore, they cannot die. They are the everlasting qualities of the self. They are self-born. To formulate your healing sankalpa, follow these steps. The sankalpa is so incredibly important. We can really use the sankalpa to spearhead all of our efforts, our beliefs, our identity, our thoughts, our attitudes, our actions. It can all be spearheaded and directed and given momentum and being put in a positive, conducive, desirable direction through the sankalpa. Sankalpa is so important. So you should formulate your healing sankalpa when you're using Yoga Nidra for self-therapy. So follow these steps. Body scan, simple breath awareness after body scan, then visualize your goal. Visualize what you want. See yourself in the future having achieved and attained your ideal lifestyle. Seeing your goal is already being manifested, allowing yourself to feel the emotions of that already achieved goal. Next, you ask yourself, what is the cause for this goal. This is a different approach to goal setting. Instead of thinking about a long to-do list and things that you have to go out and do, which are more like the effects, think, what is the cause? What kind of person do you have to become for this goal to be a natural effect? A natural effect from your way of being. So what kind of person do you have to be in order for your goal to be a natural outcome? So think, what is the cause for your goal? What kind of beliefs do you have to have? What kind of attitudes do you have to have? What kind of self-discipline, self-motivation, self-love? What kind of communication skills? All these things. What kind of knowledge do you have to have? What is the cause for your goal? Then, after you have really processed and thought about the cause for the goal, then become receptive and allow for the solution to start to present itself spontaneously. This will happen naturally. You'll naturally start to perceive the solution. I need to become more this. I need to become more that. I need to become more structured and disciplined. I need to become more positive. I need to become more self-accepting and more self-confident. All these kinds of things will naturally come as a result of visualizing your goal and discerning the cause of the goal. You'll naturally start to figure out what is the solution you need to implement. Then become receptive and allow the words to formulate themselves. The words will start to come to you. And you want to create a sankalpa that is like, it's worded like a positive affirmation. It should be extremely empowering. It should arouse your emotional side. It should really engage with your emotions. It should elicit an emotional response. It's more important that the words of your sankalpa have an emotional response than being intellectually perfect and looking good on paper. So there's all these rules about, for example, using the word will. They say don't use the word will because it's putting it off for the future. You're saying you're going to do this in the future tense. But if you use will like willpower, so I will for this to happen, not I will do, that's future tense, but I will for this to happen. I will to become more self-confident. I will to become more disciplined and structured. This is how you can, I'm just giving an example of using the word will. So don't be too intellectually rigid when formulating the words to your sankalpa. Let the words come that elicit the strongest emotional response, because that emotion is really what's going to help to engage the physical body in action. That emotion is what's going to get you up off your feet and help you to start to make productive action steps to achieving and realizing your goal in your sankalpa. After you have done all of this, rise from Yoga Nidra and journal. Start to write in your journal. For anything that we want to improve upon in our life, whether if you're learning a new language, or if you're learning how to meditate, or if you're learning people skills, or you're starting a new business, anything in your life that you want to improve upon, you should have a journal specifically for that area of your life. And you should write in it daily, even if it's just one sentence. Write in it every day. You can use a digital journal on your computer, or you can have a physical notebook that you use. But it's so important, especially here, by writing in a journal, the wording of your sankalpa, you can refine it further. You can help to create the exact right wording. But remember, when you're writing it out, it's the intellectual quality is less important than the emotional quality. Now, when we are using Yoga Nidra for self-therapy, I hope that you're enjoying this course, by the way. Hope you're enjoying today's class. And you can empower me to continue doing these free classes for you by giving a small donation using the super thanks button right there on YouTube. If it's not on this video, you can go to a previous video, one of my other videos on YouTube, and just look right next to the like and share. There's a super thanks button. If you just give like $2 or $5 or 10 or 20, whatever you want, you can give a little contribution, and every little tiny bit really helps, because this channel doesn't earn enough just from views to pay for the production costs. And so this channel really relies on people giving small little contributions here and there. So if you're enjoying today's class, please consider supporting with a small contribution. If you don't have that super thanks button, by the way, you can go to my website, tripurayoga.org, and on the top of the page, there's a donation button. You can give whatever size donation that you want. You can also sign up for the upcoming course then starting next Saturday, where you become a certified chakra therapist. And let's continue. So the 3 stages of relaxation. Usually we are only aware of the first one. Most of us only know about physical relaxation. And we usually use artificial means to achieve physical relaxation. We tune out, we become unconscious. We have to distract ourselves. We have to repress whatever we're feeling, whatever stress and tension. However, it doesn't go away when we repress it and distract ourselves and numb it by using substances and things like that. It doesn't go away. It just continues festering in the darkness of unconsciousness, where it influences your moods and it influences your actions and behaviors and responses unconsciously. So we have to have a conscious relaxation technique where we can start to address the different forms of stress and tension consciously. For example, from awareness comes relaxation. That's the first principle of Yoga Nidra. So by rotating our awareness around the physical body, you release muscular tension. Then by doing conscious breathing practices, being aware of each and every breath, you diffuse emotional tension. This is the next stage of relaxation. Emotional tension is diffused through conscious breathing, just simple breath awareness. And then we visualize different things. Pleasant mental scenery helps to relax the mind, and the mind becomes silent. And you also have to practice this detached awareness to your thoughts, where you're looking at your thoughts as if from outside yourself, with this awareness that your thoughts are not you. They are objects of your awareness. You are the awareness on the subjective side of experience. Your thoughts are objects on the objective side of experience. They're objects of your awareness, so they cannot be you. They're also subject to change and impermanent, therefore they cannot be you. So start to see your thoughts as being outside of you, as being oftentimes they're not even yours. We're running scripts from our society that we've learned from our parents, from our teachers, from political figures, from charismatic personalities, from celebrities, from our different social circles, from ourselves. We have our own scripts that we run. But they're learned, they're imposed upon us from external influences. So it's really not you, it's not even yours. So we just have to start to become aware to our thought processes. And that helps to transcend them. to let them go, to realize, wait a second, this isn't me. Why am I thinking like this? Why am I perpetuating these thought processes? That's actually from my father or my mother or this teacher, or this is actually from some news personality or whatever. We start to realize that it's not us, it's not who we really are. Then we can transcend it. Now there's the fourth. These three, the body, the breath, and the mind, are all objects of our awareness. But on the third and final stage of Yoga Nidra, we call this conscious unconsciousness or conscious sleep, where it's like you're awake in the deep sleep state, where there's no objects of the awareness. There's no objects of perception, no objects of consciousness, neither gross nor subtle. Gross objects of awareness come from the five senses. Subtle objects of awareness come from the mind itself. But in the third stage of Yoga Nidra, conscious unconsciousness or conscious sleeping, there are no objects. Then you just dwell in deep bliss. That bliss then is your own true nature. And you enjoy silent bliss, awareness of mental silence, silently observing mental silence, and just dwelling in bliss. So during the second stage of Yoga Nidra, you're watching the program on the screen of the mind. And you're wanting to understand where these programs, what it's all rooted in, where is this coming from? So you can transcend it. However, in the third stage of Yoga Nidra, you prefer to turn the programming off. You turn the TV off. You just want to enjoy just that blank canvas of the mind with no objects. And you just want to experience that bliss. If you can imagine what it would be like to experience the bliss of deep sleep while conscious, that's the third stage of Yoga Nidra. The first stage of Yoga Nidra is physical relaxation, putting the physical body to sleep while you stay awake. So when every muscle is relaxed and there's perfect stillness in the whole body, that's the first stage of Yoga Nidra. The second stage comes next, in which you are consciously dreaming, meaning that you're conscious to the subtle objects of awareness, the products of the mind, all the different thoughts, the thought patterns, the scripts that you run, the attitudes, the beliefs, the impressions, the repressed memories, the repressed desires, all these contents we want to become aware of and look at from this neutral, detached perspective. And that awareness is what purifies the psyche of all those contents. But the third stage of Yoga Nidra, you're just enjoying mental silence. You're silently observing the silence of the mind. And you're experiencing just sheer bliss. So cultivating awareness is our objective in Yoga Nidra. That is what we are setting out to achieve, to cultivate awareness. For this, we practice Sakshi Bhav. Sakshi Bhav means the attitude of a silent witness, where we don't identify with the thoughts, we don't identify with the emotions, we don't identify with the repressed memories and repressed desires. You identify with the formless, silent self, which is pure awareness on the subjective side of all experience. And you're just looking at all these objects of your perception and illumining them, understanding them, revealing them, understanding, allowing understanding to mature so you know where this is coming from and you can transcend it. Detach from all objects of your awareness. First, identify what you're thinking, know what you're thinking, but then disidentify from it. Consider them, I am not my thoughts. My thoughts are an object of my awareness, and they're subject to change and impermanence. Therefore, they cannot be the real me. And give yourself permission to ventilate. Give yourself permission to express that trapped energy. Don't repress. Repressing doesn't work. So become a neutral, detached, silent witness, like an audience member to your own thoughts and emotions, and let those emotions out. During Yoga Nidra, it's a safe space where you can allow yourself to feel 100% whatever it is you have just beneath the surface of your heart. You can let it all out. Even if you laugh or cry or sob or weep, it's okay. But keep that detached witness consciousness throughout the expressing of the emotion. Then you're releasing it. Just expressing it is getting that trapped energy out. So you're not repressing anymore. And that, just facing what you're carrying within you, that is to purify it to a certain extent. So should we do Yoga Nidra or regular sitting meditation? This is a question that I got from one of you. So Yoga Nidra is complementary to meditation, but should not replace it. Yoga Nidra is like cleaning house, and then meditation is the main dinner event. Yoga Nidra is to clean the psyche of all of the things that are preventing you from meditating spontaneously. And if you can do Yoga Nidra regularly, then you'll clean and purify the psyche of all the dross, of all the mental effluence, of all the objects and obstacles and distractions, so that relaxation can occur naturally and spontaneously. Then meditation occurs spontaneously. Then you can sit and not be having this arm wrestling against the mind. Instead of fighting the mind, doing Yoga Nidra first, even just doing 10 minutes of Shavasana before you meditate. Just lie on your back for 5 or 10 minutes and relax the body and relax the breath and relax the mind. Then sit up and do your classical meditation. Do whatever form of meditation you like to do. Maybe you do mantra japa, reciting a mantra, or maybe you do chakra purification or something like this. Those are all, or self-inquiry. These are all great, but give yourself a relaxation technique first so that you're not spending the whole meditation battling the mind, trying to make the mind become silent. And Yoga Nidra helps to achieve this too. So Yoga Nidra doesn't replace meditation. It augments meditation by helping to clear and clean the psyche so that you can meditate more naturally and spontaneously. So I want to invite you next Saturday. We're starting a certified chakra therapist training. Well, you'll get a certificate that shows that you are a chakra therapist. And I'll teach you how to diagnose the health of each chakra. There's 8 different stages of health that a chakra can be in, from totally blocked and tamasic to fully enlightened. There's 8 stages. And I will show you, there's a questionnaire that you're going to ask your clients, 20 to 25 questions for each chakra to help you to discern and diagnose which of those 8 modes the chakra is in. Next, we talk about all the different yogic techniques, the practices, all the different forms of yoga that you can use for each chakra to strengthen each chakra. For example, Muladhara, the root chakra, which is for the physical body. We have the asanas. We have hatha yoga. For Manipura chakra, to strengthen Manipura chakra, we have karma yoga selfless action. To strengthen the heart chakra, we have Bhakti Yoga. To strengthen Vishuddhi chakra, we have Kirtan, singing, bhajans, chanting mantras, chanting Om. For the third eye chakra, for Agya, we have Jnana Yoga, the yoga of knowledge, self-knowledge. And then finally, you're going to learn how to custom create your own program for each unique individual. So after you've done this questionnaire and you've identified each chakra's health and level of purity, then you can start to create a program for each individual student so that they can use all the different yogic techniques and different branches and limbs of yoga in this integrated personal daily practice. Now, even if you don't want to use this as a therapist, maybe you're not interested in the certificate, this is a great course for you to take to understand chakra therapy and the different modes and different types and techniques of yoga you can integrate and use to strengthen your weakest chakras, to help you to identify which chakras are open and closed, blocked, stagnant, extroverted, introverted, and to then be able to create your own daily yoga program to strengthen those chakras for yourself. This course is listed as $195. It is a certified course, so that's why the cost is a bit high. However, I'm giving it now to you. There's 1 week until we start. I'm giving it to you for only $80. There's 4 sessions. We meet for 4 Saturdays starting September 23rd next week. It's live on Zoom, and each live session is recorded from beginning to end. And I send it to you within 12 to 24 hours after each live session. I'll send you the recorded version. So that if you couldn't make it for the live Zoom session, you can still take this course and benefit the most from it by watching those freshly recorded sessions. Only $80. Go to tripurayoga.org to sign up. And this is empowering me also to continue doing these kinds of free classes for you. This is empowering me to continue generating content for you. Right now, I'm dedicated to doing 2 yoga nidra sessions per week on this channel. But please understand, this channel does not make enough revenue from only views to pay for that much production, all the time that I put into production. I really do rely on you, on your contributions, even if you just want to give a $2 donation or something like this, using the super thanks button or going to tripurayoga.org and giving a small donation, or signing up for a course like this, which will be super empowering for you and give you another level of understanding of both chakras and the different limbs of yoga and the techniques of yoga to use for yourself. And in this way, we can continue growing and progressing on Yoga Nidra. So I thank you. I don't know why I'm not seeing any comments. Last week I was able to see the comments. But I'm not seeing the comments, you guys. So I apologize. Just give me 1 second. If anybody has any comments, I would love for you to be able to ask questions. I mean, this is a very important part of this training. And I'm not able to find it, so it didn't come up. So what we'll do is any questions that you have, any questions that you've asked during this class, I'll see the comments after this class is over, and I will answer them in next week's free class. Next week's free class is going to be a little bit earlier because there's this chakra therapist training that's starting next Saturday too. But these free classes are going to continue. I do need your support. I need contributions from your side to continue doing this work and continue empowering you and giving you this kind of knowledge. This is my passion. I love doing it. And I have very low overhead, so I don't need a lot. But I live in the real world like you do, have to pay rent, have to buy food. And so your contributions are super empowering for me to continue this work. So I want to thank you with great love and great respect. I thank you with all of my heart. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om. I'll see you again next week. Have a great week ahead of you. And I look forward to answering any questions that you have posted during this session. They'll be answered next week. And that also helps me to generate new content for you as well. So feel free to ask anything. And I look forward to and I love answering your questions. Om, peace, peace, peace.